Tonight, Ottawa promises airlines who violate passenger rights will pay a steeper price.
This is not acceptable. Canadians deserve better.
The plan to clear the massive backlog of passenger complaints.
I have encountered a lot of people who just would rather give up.
Why critics are skeptical. A Calgary father charged with the murders of his 2 young children.
It's really a nightmare for the community.
The community's profound grief. And the bid to relocate the Vancouver Whitecaps to Las Vegas.
We don't want them to go to Vegas or anywhere else.
The growing concern over the team's future.
From CBC News, this is The National with Erica Johnson.
Thanks for joining us. Ottawa is laying out its latest plan tonight to bring order and speed to the often frustrating process of filing a complaint against an airline. And key to that is hiking the maximum fine an airline could face. The new magic number, $1 million for repeatedly violating the Air Passenger Bill of Rights. But of course, to get to that, complaints first need to get heard. And there are still nearly 100,000 of them in the queue. So Ottawa also plans to bring in a third-party adjudicator to take over the dispute process. Nisha Patel has the details on all of this and why some question whether any of it will really help.
Complaints about air travel have been piling up, from lost bags to poor service to unexpected fees. Now Ottawa is promising change.
This is not acceptable. Canadians deserve better. It must be fixed.
Airlines have to compensate passengers for flights that are delayed or canceled for reasons within their control. Now the federal government says airlines that break those rules will pay a higher price.
When there is a clear breach, there should be a stiff penalty and one that dissuades these events from happening again.
Airlines that repeatedly violate passenger rights will face a maximum fine of up to $1 million. Right now, the maximum fine is just $25,000. The federal government planned to increase it to $250,000 3 years ago, but that change never came into force.
We will have to see those fines actually applied in a couple of cases, I think. Otherwise, it's an empty threat.
And then there's the complaint backlog. The Canadian Transportation Agency, which settles disputes between airlines and customers, is already dealing with at least 95,000 complaints. Ottawa now says it will bring in a private third-party organization to clear the backlog.
Rules are very complicated and take too long to administer. So it's kind of difficult to see how bringing in the private sector is going to magically wave a wand and get everybody satisfaction a lot faster.
The CTA says it can take 2 to 3 years for a complaint to even be reviewed. These travelers say the whole process of trying to hold airlines to account is frustrating.
I've had a bad experience pretty often.
We just recently went away, and now fighting to have money back on a seat has taken a month or 2.
I have encountered a lot of people who just would rather give up and not have to go through calling the people and trying to make a claim.
We reached out to the major Canadian airlines. They say they're awaiting more details about these changes to the regulations.
And Nisha, we know the monetary penalties for violations so far have not been stunning.
The CTA doled out dozens of violations last year, but even put together, they totaled just over $1 million, which is, of course, the new proposed maximum fine. The biggest fine recently was about $460,000 against Air Canada for actions it took during the strike last August. The airline is challenging that penalty.
Okay, thanks for this, Nisha. Nisha Patel at Toronto's Pearson Airport tonight. Calgary police have confirmed that they have arrested a father for the murder of his own 2 children. Their identities covered under a court-ordered publication ban. But as Josh McLean explains, their deaths have left a community shaken and in deep grief.
Mourners gather in Calgary, united by faith and grief, holding their little ones close to support the mother of 2 children who were killed, allegedly by their father.
It's really a nightmare for the community. No one expected, such a horrible news.
Calgary police there for a grim formality, showing the mother pictures to confirm her children's identities.
It's really hard for mom. She doesn't have any family member in Canada. She raised them alone, and having this, nightmare. I don't know how she's gonna bear it.
That nightmare unfolding Thursday outside a Calgary police station after a man called 911 to report that he had killed his children. The bodies of a 5-year-old boy and 3-year-old girl discovered inside a parked car. The 37-year-old father was arrested nearby, now charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder.
This is a devastating and unimaginable loss.
Now, Calgary police provide a clearer picture of what happened. Officers had been called to the family home on 4 separate occasions. The parents separated last year. When the father didn't return with the children on Wednesday, the mother called police and was advised to get a custody order. She was in court when she learned the incomprehensible news.
Asking me what he was thinking, why an individual would kill their own children, I don't think any of you would be satisfied with any kind of answer that I could potentially give. I don't think any of us know what the actual motivation was as to why he did that.
At the church, leaders speaking through a translator are offering comfort and counsel.
Go to counselors, talk to them. If you don't believe in any religion, then still go out or talk to your friends and seek help.
A painful journey for a mother and community that is only just starting. Josh McLean, CBC News, Calgary.
2 Ontario police officers will stand trial for their roles in a fiery highway crash that killed a 3-month-old baby and his grandparents. At least 6 vehicles collided in April 2024 after police chased a robbery suspect driving the wrong way on Canada's busiest highway. Ontario's Special Investigation Unit charged Sergeant Richard Flynn and Constable Brandon Hamilton with criminal negligence causing death and bodily harm. Today, a judge ruled there is enough admissible evidence for a trial to proceed. There's outrage here in BC tonight after the province cancelled construction contracts for several healthcare projects, including long-term care facilities and a hospital expansion already underway. Tanya Fletcher with the Premier's reasoning and the community pushback.
The first phase of the long-awaited expansion of Burnaby Hospital in BC just opened. But construction on the next phase, slated to include a new ICU and cancer center, is now halted indefinitely.
We were extremely disappointed. We'd been reassured for the last few months since the budget announcement that we were going to be moving ahead.
It's one of 6 healthcare projects to have their construction contracts suddenly canceled by the province. The other 5 are long-term care homes around BC. The government says they'd simply become too expensive.
We can call them deferred, we can call them rescheduled. The bottom line is that those projects were not ready to go.
They include this 200-bed long-term care home in Delta, where construction was already underway.
The company that's actually got the contract that's working on it, that's already spent $15 million preparing the site for our new extended care ward, have been told, pack up your tools, your excavators, and you're done. Tell your employees that they're laid off.
The worst part, he says, donors had fundraised $18 million for that facility, similar to Burnaby's hospital, where the community raised over $55 million. Premier David Eby says the costs need to come down before those projects can proceed, but he vows the Burnaby Hospital expansion will continue, eventually.
This project was off the rails. It was over budget. It had completely changed the siting and the scope of the project. Canceling the construction contract enables us to have that reset.
But the need, say many, is urgent. Seniors already wait an average of 10 months to move into long-term care.
It's very concerning. Around the province, there are 7,000 people last year on the wait list. The wait list in the past 6 years has gone up by 200%.
There's a lot of anger over how all of this has been handled. The mayors of both Burnaby and Delta say they were blindsided. In fact, one of them said they only found out when CBC called them for reaction.
So, Tanya, what happens now with all of these half-done projects?
Yeah, so Erica, they are still in the government's capital plans, meaning they're essentially on their to-do list. But for now, without any timelines in terms of when construction might restart, let alone finish. And keep in mind, this is a government facing a $13 billion deficit. And the Premier has made it clear that in order to move forward, those price tags will have to be lowered.
Okay, thanks for this, Tanya. Tanya Fletcher in Vancouver. Health Canada has approved a second generic version of popular weight loss drug Ozempic, this one from a Canadian company. Toronto drug manufacturer Apotex has been given the nod to release its generic version. That's the second approval for a generic version of the injectable diabetes drug, often used for weight loss. Canada is the first G7 nation to authorize generic versions of Ozempic. We're learning more about an Alberta voters list posted online that exposed the personal information of millions in the province. As Sam Sampson tells us, a local journalist now says she tipped off Elections Alberta about the list a month ago, and nothing happened.
Well, firstly, I would like to welcome you into my home. Apparently, everyone in Alberta now knows where it is.
This political writer knows how sensitive voter information could be used. That's why she says she flagged Elections Alberta weeks ago about a leaked list containing millions of Albertans' full names, addresses, and voting areas, all posted online by a group promoting Alberta separatism. Elections Alberta told her the evidence was compelling but didn't give reasonable grounds to allow an investigation.
If you think it's possible through compelling evidence that a crime may have been committed, you don't then not investigate that potential crime because maybe it's possible that a crime wasn't committed. This didn't make any sense to me.
But Elections Alberta and the RCMP are now investigating her exact concern.
We have reason to believe you were using that list.
On Wednesday, Elections Alberta, flanked by Edmonton police, served a cease and desist letter to the Centurion Project, the group that posted the list online. They pulled it down after a court order. Court heard the list originated from a registered political party which had obtained it legitimately. In a response to CBC News, Elections Alberta did not acknowledge Gerson's earlier complaint. Instead, it pointed to a change in provincial law which raised the bar for investigations. In a statement, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith acknowledged the leak, noting those responsible should be held accountable under the law. Elections Alberta says once it provides voter lists to authorized parties, it cannot control access to that information, but cybersecurity experts say that's not enough.
They have a responsibility and a duty to protect that information and should have ensured that they deployed the highest level of cybersecurity protocols and mechanisms in place and actively monitored it.
Now that the data is out there, he says there's no going back and hopes this is a wake-up call for organizations, especially governments, to rethink how they share personal information. Sam Sampson, CBC News, Edmonton.
The federal Liberals say they'll work to keep government business open and transparent. This after days of criticism over a decision to move some committee hearings behind closed doors. Kate McKenna now with the fallout.
Following a barrage of criticism, the government House leader says the Liberals want to keep committees transparent and open.
I accept that the burden of the government is to ensure that this work remains virtually entirely done in public.
Earlier this week, after passing a motion to get majority control of parliamentary committees, Liberal MPs started moving to make some public proceedings private.
I'd like to move a motion to move the committee in camera. I move to have the meeting in camera.
I would like to suggest that we move in camera.
At several committees, the Liberals moved to shut off the cameras, avoiding public debate on things like hundreds of millions of dollars in public spending and government accountability.
This move to in-camera is completely undemocratic.
The Conservative House leader says the Liberals are flexing their majority, earned partially through floor crossers.
So it's extremely disappointing. And it's an abuse of power. It's not just an abuse of power, it's an abuse of power that was not granted to the Prime Minister at the ballot box.
It is a classic move that a new majority government makes, feeling emboldened and feeling that, okay, now we can run things our way.
This former chief of staff cautions the government from adopting this strategy long term.
I think it was way too much too soon, and it was absolutely the wrong signal to send on behalf of Prime Minister Carney, who is suggesting and is showing in certain ways a different style of politics.
The Liberals say they're still making adjustments as a new majority government, but Stephen McKinnon says opposition has a role to play too.
If everything they do as they march into committee meetings every day is dilatory and seeks to impede or obstruct, well, then that is going to provoke a counter reaction.
But the Conservative House leader says what the government calls obstruction, they call getting to the bottom of how taxpayers' money is spent. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
With the stroke of a pen, Donald Trump has made Keystone XL a possibility again, authorizing a new route to pump Canadian oil across the border. As David Thurton explains, Canada has been ready to move ahead with the pipeline for years, but now there's a catch.
Another attempt to restart a controversial oil pipeline.
A lot of jobs, dude. A lot of jobs.
The U.S. president signing an order Thursday that revives construction of the Keystone XL pipeline. Sort of.
It's not a bullet line that XL was going down to the Gulf.
It's roughly the same route on the Canadian side of the border, but on the American side, a different path, transporting more than 500,000 barrels of Canadian oil from Hardisty, Alberta to Guernsey, Wyoming.
It's done intentionally that way in order to get away from a lot of the environmental opposition and the permitting that was required before.
This is the second attempt at a project that was canceled under Barack Obama in 2015.
The Keystone XL pipeline would not serve the national interests of the United States.
Restarted by Trump.
Keystone pipeline.
And canceled again by Joe Biden in 2021. The new development comes as Canada moves to get oil to markets beyond the U.S. amid difficult trade negotiations with Washington.
Part of our problem is that we've got so much oil going to the United States of America that we lose all of our leverage in the negotiation, and they're getting a deep discount on that oil.
Keystone XL could clash with the Alberta Premier's plans to build a pipeline to the Pacific.
The need for the sector to fill that pipeline will be a little bit diminished.
Canada is one of the most export-oriented countries.
Reducing Canada's reliance on the U.S. market is a top priority for the energy minister.
We've seen in the past the U.S. approves pipelines and then cancels pipelines. Yep. We can't develop our trade strategy on that assumption.
A revised Keystone XL pipeline could be built quickly in Canada. It's been approved federally and provincially for years. A pipeline to the West Coast faces more hurdles, with no private sector proponent and opposition from the BC government and some First Nations. David Thurton, CBC News, Ottawa.
The Pentagon says it is withdrawing some of the troops it has stationed in Germany amid plummeting relations between Europe and Donald Trump. The U.S. will pull 5,000 of the more than 36,000 troops now in Germany. It comes after the German chancellor criticized the U.S.'s latest war, saying the country had been humiliated by Iran. The Trump administration has also floated pulling troops from Spain and Italy, even ejecting Spain from NATO over their lack of support for the Iran war. Tomorrow marks 1 year since 2 young children in Nova Scotia were reported missing.
We've not let up this team, and we want answers as much as everybody else.
Where the investigation stands now. Concern for the Vancouver Whitecaps leaving the city is growing. The fight to keep the team in Canada. Plus, cue the Jaws theme.
I looked straight down below my board. I saw the dark shape.
A close encounter in our moment. We're back in 2. Italian firefighters are battling to contain a large forest fire in Tuscany. Today, more than 3,000 people were forced from their homes. The fire has been burning since Tuesday and is still spreading. More than 800 hectares have burned so far. Police and local leaders in the Australian outback town of Alice Springs are calling for calm after a riot sparked by the killing of a 5-year-old girl.
It looked like a cyclone had gone through the place. Anger that turned into violence that had no thinking about the consequence.
Police say they arrested Jefferson Lewis after he'd been beaten unconscious by a mob at a nearby Indigenous community. Lewis was wanted on suspicion of murdering the 5-year-old girl, whose body had been found earlier this week. An angry crowd then gathered at the hospital where he was being treated, demanding retribution under Indigenous customary law.
They're protecting him. Yes! What he's done. Come on, let us have it.
Hundreds gathered, clashing with police and vandalizing at least one vehicle. Police firing rubber bullets to disperse the crowd. Lewis was flown 1,500 kilometers away to face justice in the regional capital of Darwin for his own safety. This weekend marks 1 year since 2 siblings from rural Nova Scotia went missing. Police say they're making progress to find Lilly and Jack Sullivan. But as Ali Thompson tells us, the family's wait for answers remains agonizing.
100% child size footprint. You can see the indent.
A strange place to find a small boot print. But everything about this case is strange. 1 year ago, Lilly and Jack Sullivan seemingly vanished. This week, volunteers are taking to the woods once again. Their grandmother, who did not want to be shown on camera, says her family is living a nightmare.
We're just devastated that there's still no answers after a year.
On May 2nd, 2025, Lilly, then 6, and Jack, then 4, were reported missing from their home in Lansdowne, Nova Scotia. Hundreds of search and rescue volunteers descended upon the property.
I searched all their play areas where they would play, like around the yard when I'm there. They have a little cabin that we made.
The mysterious nature of the case has drawn international attention. The public and the family eager for answers and pointing fingers. The children's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, has stayed mostly silent over the past year, but she did take part in this latest public search. Ontario-based volunteer group Please Bring Me Home has vowed to keep searching.
You got to keep your foot on the gas with this. You can't let up at all.
92% of missing children's cases are closed within a week in Canada, according to RCMP. But 2 siblings disappearing together is unheard of.
These kinds of cases do not look like procedural dramas on TV, and they can take a really long time.
RCMP Major Crimes is leading the case, but say it hasn't turned criminal. They say the boot print that was discovered during this latest search is being reviewed.
We've not let up the steam, and we won't. We're families, and we want answers as much as everybody else.
Jack and Lily are always on my mind, always.
On her mind and in the hearts of so many around the world. Ali Thompson, CBC News, Lansdowne, Nova Scotia.
Tonight, we have new unseen moments from Adrian's interview with the Prime Minister.
This is the G7, right?
This is the G7 in Kananaskis that President Trump had left.
The frank conversation you won't see anywhere else. And Vancouver is running out of drinking water.
We're very lucky with the system we have, but the system has its limitations. And when the reservoirs are full, they're full and they need to last us throughout the summer.
So what's to be done? We look into the unorthodox solutions. The National breaks down the stories shaping our world. Next. Crowds took to the streets around the world on this May Day, also known as International Workers' Day, demanding better working conditions, higher wages, and an end to the war with Iran. It has pushed the cost of living up for many. Some of the protests saw clashes with police. An American businessman is leading a bid to move the Vancouver Whitecaps to Las Vegas. As Yasmin Renea reports, fans are doing everything they can to push back.
Vancouver Whitecaps fans rallying to keep the beloved team in their city as concerns they might move to the U.S. grow.
The Vancouver Whitecaps are the heartbeat of the city, and we love this team, and we want to keep it here.
Brian White, he scores! Las Vegas businessman Grant Gustafson has made a formal bid to Major League Soccer to buy and relocate the team.
We don't want them to go to Vegas or anywhere else.
It comes amid a big push to bring more sports to Sin City. Construction is underway on a $2 billion Major League Baseball stadium, and there's a pitch for a massive sports and entertainment hub on the Las Vegas Strip. In a statement, Gustafson's investment group says its Whitecaps ambitions are not connected to any of the recently announced arena ideas in Las Vegas.
Muller back across goal!
Despite being one of the best teams in the league, the Whitecaps say they have money problems, arguing their current stadium, owned by the provincial government, doesn't allow them to make enough revenue.
I think there's a lot of questions about why the team is on sale when the team is finally good.
The relocation concerns come as Canada is investing big in soccer, with Ottawa announcing Friday $9.8 million towards building a national training centre.
I think it's critical that we find solutions here. That said, it's a challenging concept for the federal government to engage in professional sport.
Whitecaps ownership says they'd prefer to find a local buyer who will keep the team in Vancouver. They'll continue talks with MLS and the province about the club's future in the coming days. They may not control what happens next, but for these fans, their loyalty isn't going anywhere. Yasmin Ranaya, CBC News, Vancouver.
On the breakdown tonight, Mark Carney reflects on some key moments in his first year as Prime Minister and a looming crisis in one of Canada's largest metropolitan areas. When it comes to drinking water, Vancouver has a challenge on its hands.
Move water from mountains that are losing snow across an earthquake fault line to a sprawling city with a growing number of taps.
We'll show you the plan to get it done. But first,
This is the G7 in Kananaskis.
after Adrian's sit-down with Mark Carney this week, they strolled down a hallway lined with a year's worth of photos.
Davos. Did the reaction to this speech surprise you?
To a large degree.
If a picture's worth a proverbial 1,000 words, we've got 6. Adrian got the Prime Minister to open up on what they mean to him, and right off the bat, he broke some news about a famously run-down house.
This is Nico, right?
That is Nico. Yes, that is Nico, and it's in the run-up, obviously, to Halloween. And this is Riot Cottage, which is the permanent temporary home of the Prime Minister.
Are we going to see a Prime Minister at 24 Sussex again?
Well, I think you're not going to see me at 24 Sussex, but I would like to see my successors at 24 Sussex in some way, shape, or form.
Are you going to fix it up?
I think it's a responsibility of to hand off things better than you found them, and certainly the current state of 24 Sussex couldn't be any worse. It's an embarrassment. And,
but it's a house that belongs to Canadians, and they can't see it, they can't go in it, the Prime Minister can't live there.
Yeah, and so this is fine, for me and Nico and my wife, but I think, as I say, my successors should have somewhere where, what's important is somewhere they can host foreign leaders and the premiers and Canadians and have meetings and things like that there. So we'll.
Is that going to be a line item in a budget?
Well, it would have to be a line item. Well, we'll see. We'll see if.
It's Joni.
Joni, yes, legendary. Juno Awards, absolutely amazing. She was absolutely amazing and so full of energy and pride. That was only a few weeks ago in Hamilton.
This is the G7, right?
This is the G7 in Kananaskis that President Trump had left. He left after the first day. President Zelensky had come in overnight. This was a much more effective meeting than the one in the room where everything is being piped back and written down and sort of recorded.
So what were you talking about?
We were talking about, I think at that point we were talking about, to be honest, we were talking about probably security guarantees for Ukraine. Presidents Starmer and Macron support. Yeah, Prime Minister, sorry. President Trump upgraded me to president briefly.
You've also been governor too. So.
Yeah, well, I remember. You see, you remember what you like, and I remember the president. But anyways, we've coordinated a bunch of things since then.
Right.
And the good news is that when there is ultimately a ceasefire, there will be a stable support structure there. So there's war and love. My new best friend, Hudson.
Is there a scene that's your go-to, your favorite?
No, I don't. With go-to, it was a good scene. I mean, it was an amazing scene. And it's even more amazing from, as I understand it, from an acting perspective, is when his rival / partner, he's back in Russia.
How about you tell me everything that's on your mind, but in Russian? I won't understand, but maybe it'll help.
And Hudson is getting his partner to tell him what he feels.
In Russian.
In Russian. So it allows the guy to open up, because obviously he doesn't speak Russian. It's not obvious that he doesn't speak Russian, but he doesn't speak Russian. And it's pretty impressive. It's very impressive.
It was good.
Given it. There's our premier skipping over by this,
Yep.
Yeah. Great group. Cooperative federalism. Cooperative,
Cooperative, but also independent-minded. I mean, we talked about it a little bit. the ad, not putting American booze back on. How frustrating is that, or how encouraging is it?
Well, I would say, look, as a whole, it's worked. We've worked well together, and this is very much what Canadians expect. They expect us to work well together. It's a time to build together, and they are independent. I mean, they have their own responsibilities, and they're elected, and they make decisions, and sometimes it makes life a little more difficult, but that's...
Did Doug Ford make life a little more difficult?
With the ad? Yeah, well, yes, he did. Yes, he did. I mean, but he knows that, and Doug, don't yell at me for pointing out the obvious, but that was true. But on the other decision, as a whole, we work to be coordinated. We brief the premiers on where things are with the U.S., where the negotiations are going. There's very strong views. As we meet today, Premier Frechette of Quebec is down in Washington, which is right. The other premiers have been down. Premier Ford was down
with you beforehand?
We met last week. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Ottawa.
And Davos. Did the reaction to this speech surprise you?
To a large degree. We know the old order is not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it. Nostalgia is not a strategy. I knew what I was saying and what it meant, and it was core policy, and that was the right forum in which to say it, because I was saying it both to other leaders but also business leaders, because the sign is in the window for a lot of businesses as well, right, to use the metaphor. The powerful have their power, but we have something too. The capacity to stop pretending, to name reality, to build our strength at home, and to act together. What surprised me is how much it cut through to the general public and the general public around the world. So I got up early. I was in India, I was in Mumbai, and I got up early and I walked around the block, and a street vendor raised it with me, or I got into a troop carrier, and I won't name the country, one of our European allies, and a sergeant in it raised it with me. Like it really did penetrate, and what that told me is, I was saying what people were thinking, so.
And you're okay with President Trump not liking it?
Well, I described accurately what the U.S. is doing, which is the fancy word is monetizing its integration. So it's using how close the economic ties are to extract from that. And you can do that for a while, but you can't do that forever. And a partnership is give and take, and that needs to happen. And yes, there's going to be a reaction, but it was a more general point. China does that. China does that with critical minerals. We do that to some degree with against Russia on plumbing of the financial system. We use that against Russia and Ukraine, as we should. But yeah,
So you don't think that's come back to haunt you from the U.S.?
Not at all. Well, look, I mean, that's real. What I said is reality, and is reality great? In the world, no. We talked about it in there, but you got to understand. You have to accept the world as it is to work to make it better. And certainly, from Canada's perspective, we have to do that. And I'll say one other thing, which is that the number of countries that agree with what I said and the consequence of that for our relationships with other countries and new partnerships is a very, very long list, and some very good partners in that.
Okay.
Okay, Adrian, thank you very much.
Now, Mark Carney wasn't just reflecting on the past this week. He also announced a new sovereign wealth fund. But is that really what it is? Andrew Chang is working up that story. Here's an excerpt.
So look, the government can call this almost whatever it wants.
A new pillar of our plan, the Canada Strong Fund.
Just don't call it a
Sovereign Wealth Fund.
Okay, but I'm just wondering, where's the wealth and who's funding it? The way sovereign wealth funds traditionally work is you start with a giant government piggy bank. And not only do you stuff it full of coins and cash and oil profits, you also plug it right into the stock market. You invest that money, rather than just finding new and imaginative ways to spend that money, as governments often do. This, the Canadian government is fully aware, is how Norway does it.
Many countries that are blessed with natural resources, like Norway, have sovereign wealth funds. Canada hasn't had one until now.
And I totally get why Mark Carney would want to put these two things side by side. Success by association. Look how rich we could get. In Norway's case, from very humble beginnings, an initial investment equal to about $23 billion US.
We will begin with an initial endowment of $25 billion.
So far, so good. And fast forward a little over 25 years. Today, Norway's fund is the biggest in the world. At last count, worth 21 trillion kroner, or about 2 trillion US. And you see this blue section right here? That's the coolest part, the part that's plugged into the stock market. The blue part of each bar is how much money Norway's money made through long-term investing. Compounding returns, baby. Except, settle down, because I'm going to show you all the ways in which Canada's sovereign wealth fund is not like Norway's.
Now, Andrew's full report is coming up on Sunday right here on The National. Coming up, Vancouver's got a potential crisis to solve, a looming drinking water supply problem.
So how do we get more water when we need it? The first wild plan is the giant straw.
Johanna Wagstaff spells out the problem and the possible radical solutions. Next. For as long as anyone can remember, Vancouver's drinking water has come through a stable supply line.
We locked down these watersheds a century ago to act as pristine catchment basins.
But the city is now at a turning point, facing a looming deadline to plan for the next 100 years. Johanna Wagstaff looks at the pressures that are squeezing the existing delivery system and the radical ideas that residents in the future may end up taking for granted.
Vancouver is one of the wettest cities on Earth. Yet when it comes to drinking water, there's a crisis on the horizon. And the proposed solutions are kind of wild, like a giant straw, pipes you can drive through, maybe even a new source lake. Stick with me. Let's start by understanding the existing drinking water system. I'm standing in front of one of them. This is Capilano Lake, one of 3 reservoirs on the North Shore Mountains that catch the runoff from 60,000 hectares of protected land. That means no hiking, no camping, no human footprints. We locked down these watersheds a century ago to act as pristine catchment basins for Capilano, Seymour, and Coquitlam reservoirs. These giant holding lakes, if you will, provide the water to 3 million people. That's about half of BC's entire population. The genius of this system is the altitude. The mountains do the heavy lifting, using gravity as the primary delivery method. So massive pumping stations and massive amounts of electricity are not needed, just pipes guiding the flow down to your glass. It's a perfect passive system. For now.
We're very lucky with the system we have, but the system has its limitations. And when the reservoirs are full, they're full and they need to last us throughout the summer.
Which brings us to conflict number 1, climate change. This whole system works because the snow we get in the mountains in the winter slowly melts through the spring and summer, keeping our reservoirs full when demand is the highest. I've looked at the projections for Metro Vancouver snow. By the 2050s, the average winter snowpack is expected to decrease by almost 60%. By the 2080s, that number is closer to 80%. We're already losing winter snow as the season shifts, getting more of our snow as rain. And we're seeing glimpses of what that looks like when we get to the bottom of our lakes too early. Tighter restrictions. 2026 is the earliest Metro Vancouver has introduced Stage 2 water restrictions on record. Basically, no lawn watering until the fall.
And so we know we provide a billion litres in winter, so 1 billion litres. It's the size of BC Place if you fill it up every day in winter. But in summer, that increases by 50%.
So how do we get more water when we need it? The first wild plan is the giant straw. By the mid-2030s, Metro Vancouver is launching a second water intake at Coquitlam Lake to double its water withdrawal. The water's already there, it's just physically out of reach of our current pipes. We're tunneling a brand new lower intake to grab that cold, high-quality water from the depths. Think of it like sticking a longer straw in your bubble tea to get the last few pearls at the bottom of the cup.
So Coquitlam Lake currently provides drinking water to about 1/3 of the region. And with the upgrade, eventually it's going to be able to provide more than half of the region. It's a very big lake. It's also very deep. The deepest part is actually below sea level.
But even if we have all the water we need, we have to move it. And we live in a major seismic zone, conflict number 2. Our water has to travel under massive bodies of water, like the Burrard Inlet, to get to your tap. I've done a deep dive into the liquefaction hazard maps, and the big concern here is that during a large earthquake, the ground, especially near the riverbanks, turn to jello. So if a main pipe snaps 30 meters below the water, you can't just send a scuba diver down to patch it. We could be dry for weeks. About 75% of our primary pipes have been upgraded to seismic resilient joints, designed to bend and stretch, like this one, rather than snap if the earth cracks.
Correct. This pipe here is 3.2 meters in diameter, so yes, you could drive a small car through there. It's challenging in the sense that, we do have to make sure that the pipes are the right size, right material, and it's going to be able to withstand these large earthquakes that, we're one day going to see, unfortunately, right?
But engineering can't solve everything if our habits don't change. And that leads us to conflict number 3, rising demand. We're adding 35,000 new neighbors every year. Based on forecasted demand and population growth, the region will likely need additional water storage by the mid-2030s if relying solely on the current system's capabilities. But it turns out Vancouver also just straight up uses a lot of water.
The Vancouver region are the highest per capita water users in the country. So, it's not a table we want to be first on, I think. So it's definitely a two-pronged approach. It's let's all use less and let's plan for the second intake at Coquitlam so we can access more of the high-quality source water that we have in this region.
Even with the longer straw and the bendy pipes, the math still doesn't quite add up for the next century. Metro Vancouver is evaluating 7 mega projects to get us through to 2120. We're talking about entirely new source lakes outside our current map, like Harrison Lake or Pitt Lake. Lakes, by the way, that haven't already been earmarked for BC Hydro use in the future. We're also talking about raising the Seymour Falls Dam by 53 meters. And these are engineering hurdles on unceded territories. Altering these waterways requires decades of engagement with local First Nations. Our 100-year survival equation is a race. Move water from mountains that are losing snow across an earthquake fault line to a sprawling city with a growing number of taps. But Metro Vancouver has planned for 100 years before, so they're betting billions that we can out-engineer the clock.
So you heard Johanna say that Stage 2 restrictions on water use are now in effect. Metro Vancouver says it expects tighter ones in June. Stage 3 restrictions include full bans on lawn sprinkling and filling pools. Coming up next, a pair of surfers come face to face with a shark.
Not only did we get to be pursued by the shark in a pretty aggressive manner, but we also got out alive.
The terrifying chase and how they escaped it. Next, in our moment. You're looking at Ron Decatur, a foil surfer in Santa Barbara, California. This was just moments after finishing a very memorable ride where he was chased by a shark. The shark was so interested, it stayed on Ron's tail for over a mile. So tonight, the thrilling chase makes our moment.
Oh my God, it's coming for you! Run! Run, go!
Never have we had a shark really intentionally chase for this long.
I looked straight down below my board. I saw the dark shape. You could hear Tava saying, "No, it's not a dolphin, it's a shark."
It was around 6 feet. That's a big shark. I was not as calm as Ron.
Don't stop! Go, go, go!
I let Ron take the shark off into the sunset, away from me. Our foils also look like stingrays, which is what great white sharks eat in our area. It could have been thinking, why did my prey just tap me on the shoulder and run away?
It could have hit me any moment. When it did finally not come back, I was pretty darn relieved. And then I was pretty certain it got bored or it got tired and gave up the chase. I think we're all confident that it didn't want to eat us.
Not only did we get to be pursued by the shark in a pretty aggressive manner, but we also got out alive.
Can you imagine? Now, shark experts aren't sure what kind of shark it was. About 50% of the people that these guys talked to thought it might have been a great white shark. But to them, it didn't matter. They went back foil surfing the very next day. They told our producer the conditions were just too good. From all of us at The National, thank you for being with us. I'm Erica Johnson in Vancouver. Take care.